Welcome back, everyone, to another Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. Before we meet today's guest, we want to acknowledge our podcast sponsors, We Coach, and the global community of women in high school sports. And now let's hear a short word from each of our sponsors. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive for their support. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and check out their indoor scoring tables and video boards. They not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. If you go to sidelineinteractive.com, you can schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com, or email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We also want to say thank you to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's athletic record boards for all the events or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles and their templates that will help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. They'll help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. And all you have to do is go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. In my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for teachers, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that came back was almost always over the top positive, and it'll be the same for you. But the surveys also allowed that squeaky wheel parent to vent a little, and sometimes they'd share a small issue that you could address and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it, because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank Snap Raise. Go to snapraise.com or go to onsnap.com and check out everything their platform can do for you. From a fundraising standpoint, our coaches use SnapRaise, and it was just fantastic. It was easy, our data was secure, and what's most important, it worked. They even have a platform where you can get your funding before you actually start your fundraiser. Go to snapraise.com and check out the SnapRaise digital difference. It's easy, it's safe, and it works. Check out the thousands and thousands of dollars they have helped schools just like yours raise using SnapRaise. Choosing the best fundraiser is a critical step in your department, and you can change your fundraising game plan and start a fundraiser that works for you. Go to snapraise.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams across the country use Huddle to help their athletes perform better. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. And as an athletic director, our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved it. They love the smart cameras. They love the mobile apps. Of course, they love the analytics, but there's so much more. Huddle is built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools and colleges. Huddle is also the complete solution, and it provides professional grade analysis for your teams and your coaches. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Go to huddle.com to get started and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. If you go to hometownticketing.com, they're going to show you how to set up and sell your tickets digitally. They'll show you how to scan the attendees and collect your revenue. And every step of the way, you'll have a dedicated client success manager that's with you providing hands-on support. That's every step of the way. You can also sell tickets for things like school dances, theater productions, concerts, even graduation. Go to hometownticketing.com and start selling your tickets digitally. That's hometownticketing.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content for their school social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Go to Gipper.com, use the podcast code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. Start creating custom branded content for your school's social media channel. That's Gipper.com. And we want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in forms and registration. Go to finalforms.com and see how they can help you and your program. They can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility, and they've got reminders for parents about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that come with athletics. Final Forms can help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help you with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. You know, it's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got one of our regulars, a true friend of the show, back with another tech tip, Scott Paine. Regular listeners will know Scott's a certified master athletic administrator. He's a longtime athletic director, also does some consulting now. He's part of the NIAAA's national faculty, has a new organization called AthletiTech. But today, he's our tech guru. So, Scott Paine, what do you have for us today on Tech Tuesday?
Hey, happy Tuesday, Jake. Oh, well, our last episode, we went into some of the stuff coming up with the national conference. I was talking about LTC 613, so you kind of already gave a little premonition that I'm a faculty, one of the teaching faculty, mainly for the tech courses for the national conference. And so today I want to talk about LTC 614. If you take 613, that's what we now call Technology 1. It goes back into all what we talked about last episode, kind of the Google Workspace and what you can do with Google. LTC 614 is Technology 2, and we discuss current trends in digital engagement and communications. That's a very broad topic, and we dive in, again, those LTC courses are typically 4 hours, and we kind of dive in to a lot of, how can you manage digital media assets like social media, or how do you make more engaging live and on-demand content like videos of any form, and then like just interactive public presentations. So your coaches meetings, your parent meetings, those big the Hall of Fame induction type things. How can you make those better with technology and the tools that are available to you? And then we also just kind of dive into different applications just for daily tasks and how to make those more efficient. So it's a very broad course that dives into a lot of very good content over those 4 hours. And a lot of it's, again, we have good content right up for you, but you bring questions and we dive into those questions very deeply. At the NIAAA, or at the national conference in Nashville this December, that course 614 will be offered on Monday, December 12th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, they're 4 hours. I would not, not all the time do we ever always go the full 4, but it will be a lot of good content. You'll have a lot of things to walk away with, and then obviously you'll meet those of us that teach that course, and will be your resources as well past taking that course. So LTC 614.
Scott, it's great stuff, and we mentioned this last time. I think I did take the original tech course 610 100 years ago. So for somebody that's listening, or maybe somebody's just looking at the program, I'm going to guess you might have two extremes. You've got that self-proclaimed tech savvy person that's going to say, oh, it's just going to be basic stuff. They're not going to do anything for me. And then you've got that other extreme, somebody like me, that's saying, geez, I don't know that much about tech. I don't want to get overwhelmed. Um, do you cover both extremes? Is it a good class for anybody?
I would say that we're a good middle ground. If you have experience using different applications for communication like PowerPoint or Google Slides, I think we can one up your take on what that looks like. If you're used to social media and maybe like use Gipper already, like how can you leverage that further? How can you do some the graphic content on your own? How can you make some other items that are engaging like videos, and how do you kind of get more into the digital age that connect more to probably your kids and even some of your parent groups that you have going on? I would say that we give you tools on both ends of the spectrum. And if you do come with a large, vast, like I definitely don't know it all. And we'll sit there going through the content. I'm like, oh man, I always forget that you can do that. Or, there's this thing that is in there, but you have to go find it and you don't know it exists in that application. If you come in with that kind of knowledge already, I think you can bring some questions that for one would push us as the teaching faculty, which if you're not, growing, you're not getting better. So we might as well have some hard questions. So bring questions if you're a more veteran user of tech in the communications line. I would say that for 613. Well, if you think you know Google all the way in and out, I would say come take the class and bring your questions, because I bet you we can dive even deeper.
Yeah, and again, I kind of figured that was your answer, but if you're an athletic director and you're listening, and you wanted to expand that social media, that branding presence, and you just weren't quite sure how to do it, come to this course. Scott and his team, his faculty group, they will take good care of you, and you're going to leave that LTI course with a lot of tools in your toolbox. Sorry, I just had to phrase it that way. Scott, as always, great to spend some time with you. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more before the conference, or maybe set up a connection at the conference, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, in the show notes, I have my consulting little freelance business on the side. Don't think of it as an organization. It's just literally just me, and I just wing ding it on the side. It's called AthletiTech, and my Gmail for that is athletitechconsulting@gmail.com. It is not athletic. That was too much money to buy on the web hosting on that one. But it's in there. You can also hit me on my personal email. Paine is my last name, period, Scott@gmail.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Twitter @Coach Paine. You can go through any of those channels. I'd be happy to either hop on a virtual call, on a phone call, text with you, go back on direct messages, or hook up at the national conference to discuss things. I like talking about it, and I love, as you said, tools in the toolbox, Jake. I want to make sure I can help you go be a fisherman with your tools. So.
No, absolutely. Great stuff. For our listeners, we do this every Tuesday, Tech Tuesday. We appreciate you listening. We also upload the Zoom videos to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. As I said, thanks for listening. Come back next Tuesday for more tech tips, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Once again, we want to say thanks for listening to today's Tech Tuesday, and we want to give another shout out to our sponsors. Every single one of our sponsors is a company that I have used personally as a coach or an athletic director, or one that's been recommended to me by dozens, dare I say, hundreds of other ADs. They're all great companies, and they make this possible. So please visit them. Let's go and start out with Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. At my schools, I was at private schools for over 20 years, and we use surveys for just about everything. And the information that comes back from these surveys from kids and parents is almost always positive. But the survey also allows that squeaky wheel parent to vent and sometimes share a small problem that you can address as an AD and keep it from turning into a big problem. And Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are real pros at putting together these surveys. So go to athleticsurveys.com, shoot them an email at info@athleticsurveys, and they'll help you out. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, we were a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the platform, the smart cameras, the analytics. Go to huddle.com and turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. The FIAAA uses a Wall of Fame console for our organization's Hall of Fame, and it's just fantastic. To get your school set up for school record boards or for your Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. I never used Gipper as an athletic director, but we use it here on the podcast. And I've talked to literally hundreds of ADs who use the Gipper platform to promote their school. Go to Gipper.com. You can even use the podcast code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. I want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor scoring tables and video boards. We were one of the first schools in Florida to have a Sideline Interactive LED score table. And it's just fantastic. We use it for games. We use it for pep rallies. We use it for signing ceremonies. It is tremendously versatile, and their customer service is second to none. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms. Final Forms is the official registration platform for the FIAAA conference, and they do so much more than that for your stakeholders, for your coaches, for you. Go to finalforms.com. You can also use finalforms.com/Jake if you want to. If you're looking for a fundraising platform, I highly recommend SnapRaise. Our coaches use SnapRaise, and it was just great. As an AD, I knew what was going on, but I didn't have to get involved. SnapRaise even has a platform that you can get fundraising dollars before you actually do the fundraiser. Go to snapraise.com for more information. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing. I never used Hometown Ticketing because they were just coming into vogue as I was stepping down as an athletic director. But I've talked to, again, hundreds of ADs who swear by Hometown Ticketing. Go to hometownticketing.com and get started selling your tickets digitally. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Tech Tuesday and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast.